welcome to another Huddle Breakdown Extra Time. I'm your host, Martin Murphy, and I'm joined today by Alan. Sadly, no James. Look forward to seeing you again, James. Sadly, he's unavailable today. How are you, Alan?
Yeah, very good. As I say, probably most people don't care, but I'll share it anyway. So yeah, couldn't watch the game last night. Family birthday thing, and so I ended up capturing the data and watching it at the same time, which was actually good fun. It was actually quite good fun, not knowing what was going to happen as I was watching the game, and it also has its frustrations because, somebody puts a through ball through, takes a shot at goal, keeper saves it, somebody puts it in, celebrate. You log all these events, and then they flag offside, and then you have to go and undo all of that. So it has its frustrations. Only a spreadsheet shagging nerd would probably appreciate that, but it was also quite good fun. So yeah, so it's been a busy day, But so
You're
I'm kind
just
of
the man for that.
I'm coming to the party late as far as last night's game is concerned.
Yeah, it's been a hectic few days for myself as well. Lots of meetings. Managed to squeeze in a concert as well. The Dropkick
Wow,
Murphys,
yeah.
just to kind of keep my stereotypical Celtic fan vibe going as well. But I have to say, man, what a great performance. Now, against Dundee. I don't like to take credit for this, but the poem that I used last week, about Jota and promising good days ahead and all that. It's kind of Nostradamus-like, isn't it? It's kind of all being fulfilled even before our eyes on a weekly basis. What were your kind of main takeaways, Alan? I mean, one of the things I would be interested in hearing from you about is I thought right at the start of the game we were so up for it. I thought the pace and the energy and the pressing right from the word go was tremendous, and it'd be interesting if you've got anything on that. And I did wonder whether that was a little bit of an annoyance about the 3-3 draw up at Dens, whether there was a bit of bit of payback in some ways, but who knows? Obviously some changes to the team as well. What did you think?
Well, firstly, I did hear, and I haven't had it verified, but I did hear that that John Kennedy did play, the video of you reading out your poem to the team before the game, and it's probably that's kind of inspired them to these heights of a 6-0 win. So
It's
well done.
it's it's tremendously heartening, and as I say, I would expect no less from John Kennedy as a good Cleland boy just up the road from me. He obviously knows his poetry, doesn't he?
So listen, I thought it was tremendous fun. I mean, I know, people might think it's a bit on brand for us to sort of put, in the back of a 6-0 win against a team that are, and as I say, depending on which stats you look at, you could argue are actually the worst team in the league. That we'd pivot to some analysis of why they're so poor and how it wasn't that great, really, and what have you. But I just thought it was tremendous fun. I thought it was a tremendously good performance. I think you were right to point out the sort of off the ball, which was, obviously wasn't much of the game. I think Celtic again were near
Yeah.
80% possession, but Rodgers has spoken about this a number of times this season. The almost the barometer, if you like, the weather vane of a performance is actually that he seems to pick up on is how is the team doing off the ball, and we saw at the weekend against Motherwell. Motherwell almost lulled Celtic into sleep. What was a tired Celtic team into sleep by
Yeah.
being so passive that Celtic just kind of locked the ball around at a fairly leisurely pace and kind of meandered their way to victory. And we all remember the sort of Jota Stardust at the end, and that's the sort of the takeaway from it. But actually, the performance was quite a sleepy performance. But this certainly wasn't that. And going on Roger's own sort of, as I say, KPIs, if you like, almost on that. The number of times that a Dundee player, when they rarely had the chance to move the ball forward and complete one or two passes, they were just being swarmed by 2, 3, 4 sometimes Celtic players. Looking to win the ball back, and also it was the first time that you sort of looked at the squad, and other than swapping Forrest out for Yang on the bench, that's probably as close to Celtic's, maybe arguably the strongest team that Celtic put out all season. And I know that's controversial to say, probably with Kyogo having moved on, but it felt like a really strong performance. I think the other thing is, we touched on Tuesday about I was honestly a little bit taken aback at the reaction to the transfer window how negatively that has gone down with some of the support and the severity of some of the feedback and reaction to that transfer window. What I was heartened by was the fact there was no hint. We had Rodgers' press conference, which we can maybe talk about a little bit prior to the game, which I thought was peak Brendan.
Superb, wasn't it?
Um, Very nuanced, lots of things unsaid, but very balanced. But just with just the right little hint of menace under the surface. Perfect. Also, for Brendan watchers, it was quite the masterpiece actually. And then just the way the team played, there was no hint of any. Sometimes teams can come out of transfer windows and there's a bit of uncertainty and there's a bit of lack of cohesion. People are maybe not feeling secure in their futures, or people maybe wanted moves, they didn't get moves, and they're not feeling it, and all that sort of things. There can be all sorts of things going on, and we've seen most of that. But I felt that this was a team that put in a terrific performance, and it was fun to watch. And as I say, it was all those off the ball moments. They were the tells, if you like, of what was a good performance. And then my last sort of summary of it is it was just one of those days when every bloody shot went in. The total XG was not much more over 2.5 sort of thing. But this is an example of what we've talked about in Champions League, where if you overwhelm a team and you start to get to around about 2.5 XG, it can become 4, 5, 6 quite quickly when there's a quality gap, and that quality gap in terms of Kun's goal was just incredible. Maeda's finish as well, incredible. But that can happen, and that can happen for Celtic a few times over a season where a team is just simply overrun. Because I actually thought Dundee in the first half, I was actually watching it until the penalty, thinking this is going to be a really sticky night because they've got so many players behind the ball that they really are packing. They had 5 across the back, 4 compact in midfield. And Simon Murray was, he's always going to occupy he can occupy 2 centre halves on his own with his running off the ball like a wee dog on a beach chasing a chip poke, isn't he? So I think that, not that there was any jeopardy by the end of it, but I did feel as it started this could be quite a tough one to crack. But it was one of those days where everything went Celtic's way. We got a penalty that you don't often get, if I'm honest, especially in Scotland. It was a penalty.
We hope you enjoyed this free preview from all of us here at the Huddle Breakdown. We know you have options and we really appreciate you tuning in. To hear the rest of this episode and for much more Huddle Breakdown content, head on over to www.huddlebreakdown.com. We hope you consider subscribing. Thank you.